All right. Welcome everybody to the DoorGrow Masterclass. The focus today is the property management interruption killer. I want to kill interruptions. This is the hidden thief in a business. It can double your staffing costs easily, and it's invisible. It's probably something a lot of you haven't even paid a lot of attention to, but it's something that we use to cut our staffing and team costs in half at DoorGrow many years ago, and it's part of our philosophy and how we run our business. And it allows us to, we teach this to our clients, and it allows them to decrease their staffing costs significantly. I am here also hanging out with Sarah. Can you brag about your property management business and qualify yourself related to this?
Oh, you want me to brag about myself?
Yes. Or do you want me to brag? I can brag about you, but
you can do it. See if you can do it better than I can do it.
Okay, so for perspective, Sarah had her own property management business. She's the COO of DoorGrow, operator, owner, and my partner in life, my wife. And she had her own property management business, about 260 doors at its peak.
Yep.
She was able to manage these remotely from here in Austin. They were in Pennsylvania, C-class properties, duplexes, small plexes. Yeah.
Like small plex and single family.
C-class properties, right? Not an easy market, low rent. And she was able to manage them remotely with one part-time person, boots on the ground, that was actually there, part-time. And that's it. One person, part-time. And she was so bored, I convinced her to start helping work in DoorGrow because she's brilliant. And she's able to run things very efficiently. She had over 60% profit margin in her business. And it's pretty nice. She's helped many of our clients, even from a single coaching call, eliminate half their staff. If you are a team member, don't freak out. And she's been able to help some of our clients easily find 6 figures of additional revenue in their business annually from a single phone call, right? So, hey, Jason Zong, good to see you. It was good seeing you in person.
There was the call I told you about interruptions.
What's up, Yair? We can hear you. We can't see you though. Turn on your camera.
Tell somebody to join.
He's like, we need this. Let's get rid of these interruptions.
Sorry.
You're all right. You're all good. It's good to have you. All right. Welcome, Ronald. All right. So get your cameras turned on. So comment in the chat. I want to tailor this to you. And make sure that we're helping your business. We've got clients with thousand plus doors. We've got clients that are startups that we help at DoorGrow. And to qualify us, I'll just let you know a little bit about us. I've been helping property management business owners for over a decade. I've talked to thousands of property managers. I've seen a lot of patterns, being able to see inside companies over the years. And we've developed what we call the DoorGrow code, which is a roadmap to get people as quickly as possible from 0 to 1,000 doors and to make their business really efficient. And we help clients easily add 100, 200. One of our clients had 300, another client added 400 doors in a year. And we do that by eliminating advertising expense. So if adding doors is your challenge, we can help you with that piece. The bigger problem that we like to deal with, and this is more related to that today, is to deal with the challenge that you're now adding a lot of doors too quickly, and it's starting to hurt, and it's not comfortable, and it's not more fun for you the more doors you add. And if you do it correctly, 1,000 doors is easier than 100 for you as a business owner. I just want all of you to chew on that, because I hear so often, well, I just want to get to 250, or I just want to get, because everybody wants to max out at the highest level of pain they can imagine. They're like, this is where it's going to get really uncomfortable, and I can't see beyond that. And I will say 200 to 400 doors usually is the worst place to ever be. It's one of the hardest spots, because at this place you have usually an entire team, and you're usually the least profitable per unit you've ever been. And this is a really difficult stage. Sometimes I call it the swamp of success. And this is where you are trying to micromanage your team, and they're always coming to you with every question, and you're frustrated, and you're thinking, why won't my team just think for themselves? So if you've ever thought that, and you're in that stage, maybe you've broken the 100 door barrier and you're on the way to 200 doors, but you're thinking that already, you're normal. Like that's normal development for a property management company to go through. And our goal at DoorGrow is to get you over that hurdle, get you the 3 key systems, which is a previous masterclass we did, that you need to get installed in order to have your business become what I call infinitely scalable, which is people, planning, and process. All right. So today we're going to talk about an easy, quick way to decrease your staffing costs and increase the productivity and efficiency. This is significant because what's the biggest expense in your business? Comment in the chat. What's the biggest expense in your business? It's not your property management software, I'm guessing, unless you're a solopreneur. Staff, payroll. Yep. Right. Employee. Yeah. Staff and taxes. Yeah. Taxes for sure. We can't, there's a little bit you can do to control taxes, but not a whole lot. Right. But you have a lot of leverage when it comes to staff, payroll, employees. Right. Okay. Which is basically the same thing. All right. Now let's talk about this. So hopefully I've qualified myself. You're like, maybe I should listen to this guy and this gal, Sarah, and pay attention. So we want to help you get to that next level and make the business easier. So I'll tell you a little story. So years ago, I was running my agency, and it was more of a web design agency at the time. And we were doing tons and tons of website projects. I think we had 100 going at a time, something like 80 going at a time. And it was stressful. And it felt like I had a pretty large team, and it felt like nothing was really moving forward. It just didn't feel like we were in momentum. I couldn't figure out why. And anybody have a messaging tool in their business? Like to use Slack by show of hands, or some sort of, we use Telegram internally, anything like this where you can message the group. Yeah. Okay. So we were using a tool. We were using, I think it was Slack at the time, or something similar. And I got to have a call with the CEO of Basecamp, and his name is Jason also, but his name is Jason Fried. It's spelled like fried, but he says it Fried. And Jason Fried, anyone familiar with Jason Fried? He's written some books like Remote Work and Work Teams, and he's built a multi-million-dollar business, the Basecamp software, which our team uses for our website projects with clients. So he was willing to get on a call with me. He's like, I had commented on a live stream, and he said, well, why don't you set up a call and I'll get on a call with you and I'll show you our Basecamp, our new Basecamp. And I didn't realize at the time that I was going to be getting a master class for 90 minutes in how to run a company efficiently. And he showed me how he ran his business. And I'm not kidding. Overnight, I cut my staffing costs basically in half. We eliminated a lot of interruptions. We eliminated a lot of meetings. And one of the key things he taught me was how to decrease and create a situation, decrease communication that's necessary on a team. Now, let's say I'm going to pose a question to all of you. And here's the first concept or principle I want to share with you. And maybe I can draw this and it'll be more clear. My name is Jason, and I like to do drawings. All right. I don't know if anyone knows that reference. All right, here we go. So, and I want to make sure I can still see the chat. So let me get the chat open here. So Ring Central is your biggest expense, Joanne? Oh man. Okay. We used to use Ring Central too. It can be really expensive. All right. You might want to take a look at TalkRoute. It makes people use their cell phone minutes. If they have unlimited minutes, it doesn't matter. All right. So for communication, you use Ring Central. I got it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Some of you, like, there's a million different tools you can use for communication. So first principle I want to teach and share is this idea of part-time versus full-time. Is it F-U-L-L? I don't know. Spelling's not my thing. Did I do it right, everybody? Okay. So part-time versus full-time. So what I want to point out here is that, let's say full-time equivalents, you have 10 team members, right? So you've got 10, but you've got part-time. That would be, let's say they're all half-time to make the math easy. You've got 20 people, right? The level of complexity in communication with this is infinitely greater. right? So I want to draw this out with 5 people, right? We'll make this really simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. We've got 5 people. Here's you, and you need to communicate with each person on your team. And then this person maybe needs to communicate with each person on the team, and this person needs to communicate with each person on the team, et cetera, right? So we've got all these lines, right? You make it 10, and then I don't want to draw every line, but then it starts getting super crazy, right? The level of communication. And one thing I want to point out is, well, anyone ever read the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller? Of Keller Williams fame, right? The One Thing in the book, it talks about how every interruption, according to studies, costs you 18 minutes of productivity. 18 minutes, right? So if one team member that you are paying for their time, right? You're paying for their time, interrupts another team member, you lose at least a half hour of work, right? For easy math. You lose a half hour of work. If one team member goes to another team member and says, hey, got a minute? I'm interrupting you right now. And so what happens, the more people you have, the more communication is occurring, and it gets really ugly and complicated. We don't want this situation, if at all possible. So it's more efficient to have less team members that are better team members. This is why in a lot of instances, a really well-trained and well-educated and raised in with American English team member might be better than 3 team members that are overseas or somewhere else where they don't speak as well of English. I don't know. I can't speak either. So, but you get the idea. Okay. So this is really important to understand because there's a big trend in the industry where people are like, I just need to get more and more VAs to lower my costs. It doesn't always or necessarily lower your costs. And so I want you to be clear. So we have a smaller team at DoorGrow than we've probably ever had, maybe, or smaller than we had in the past, but we make a lot more money and we're a lot more efficient. And because our team members are highly engaged and most of them are full-time equivalent, or something like that, we have a much lower amount of communication that's necessary. Okay. Everybody tracking with this? If this makes sense, just write in the chat, yes, that this makes sense. This is the first principle that I want everyone to understand. Okay. And hopefully this is helpful. All right. So the next thing I want you to understand is you need to really understand this principle that interruptions cost you money. Interruptions cost money. Every interruption costs money. And the way that we do and figure that out as with our clients and for ourselves, can you make sure I'm hearing noises? Can you make sure people are muted? Okay, everyone mute your mics. All right. So if you have questions, throw them in the chat and we can bring you on if you want to ask, because I want to tailor this to you. But one of the things we have people do is we do a time study. And this is where business owners really can start to see their interruptions. And so basically we have a grid and it's got hours and you're basically tracking every 15 minutes where your time goes. And we use this to help them figure out how to offload. So you build the business around the entrepreneur instead of building the business around the business, each team member, which is why people get stuck in the 200 to 400 door range because they have an entire team. The thing I want you to realize is if this is you, you're a happy person, hopefully, right? This is you. And you then start trying to do other things that are not you, right? Which is this stuff. And then you're like, now I want to build a team around me. And so here are these weird puzzle pieces that you're adding, like, a maintenance coordinator and, whatever else you get, right? A PM and et cetera. You start building a team around you, but you're building it around this wrong version of you where you're still holding on to things you don't enjoy. You've got a bunch of minus signs on your day-to-day instead of plus signs, right? I want you to understand that you cannot build the right team around the wrong person. This is the wrong person. This is the right person. This is what you really enjoy doing. And so what a lot of times we do as entrepreneurs initially is we build a team based on what we think the business needs. Oh, the business needs a PM. The business needs a maintenance coordinator. Business needs this. But we don't ask ourselves, what do you need? What do you need in order to have more plus signs in your day and eliminate these minus signs? And so you end up building the wrong team. And I want you all to take inventory of your team right now. This is to make this clear, because I hear this all the time. I can hear you saying it now. I love my team. My team are great, right? By default, you have the wrong team, and you know you have the wrong team if you have an entire team to help you and you are still wearing hats in the business that you do not enjoy wearing, that are not fun for you. Then you have the wrong team. You've built the wrong business, right? All right. Does this make sense? Okay, cool. So we want to make sure that you first get clarity on you, and then we build the right team around you. And when you build the right team around you, then you'll be far more efficient. So the way that we start to identify these invisible time studies is these invisible thieves in the business called interruptions, is we do a time study as a business owner. And then we have our team members do time studies as well to identify, and we have a specific way of doing this in DoorGrow. And we have a training on this called Time Study Secrets. It goes into detail. And we have a training called the Priorities Training, which talks, I'm going to throw out pieces of these. We don't have time to cover all of this today, but we have another training called the Priorities Training, which is Sarah and I teaching how she would run her business efficiently and largely eliminate interruptions. The biggest interruption in a business are generally phone calls, right? And depending on the number of phone calls you get in your business, you need a lot more staff and a lot more time. And most phone calls don't even need to happen. So text message, email, etc. And we go into all the different target audiences for this: vendors, existing tenants, potential tenants, existing clients, potential clients, etc., and how to reduce the phone calls situation in that training. But just know, eliminating phone calls is probably one of the most cost productive things or profitable things you could do in your business. That will decrease a lot of interruptions, which are just time wasting and stealing money from you. And they're unnecessary most of the time. The only people you really want to be talking to on the phone are prospective clients, right? You should probably spend some time with those and get more money and more in your business, right? Okay. So the other thing that I want to point out, and this is what Jason Fried really taught me, is the idea of asynchronous communication. Anybody know what asynchronous mean? Go ahead and comment in the chat if you're super smart. People are Googling it right now. I know you are. All right. Asynchronous, right? I'm not going to type up or write out the whole word, but synchronous, right? Synchronous. Synchronous means it's happening real time. Two people are talking or communicating with each other, right? They're talking with each other real time. And this is great. Like if you're at a restaurant, you're hanging out with friends, right? Real-time communication. The challenge with synchronous communication is that it means that somebody comes into the room and says, hey, got a minute? And at your company, they're using SneakerNet, right? SneakerNet is, this is a shoe, right? SneakerNet is super inefficient. They come in, they interrupt you. Hey, I need this thing. You're like, oh man, I get to feel so smart. I'm going to give them this answer. And you teach your team that they should always interrupt you and come to you with every question. And then you end up with an org chart that has your name in parentheses next to every single person, right? Which means your team and business is not scalable. So the goal is to shift towards asynchronous communication. So asynchronous communication means I can, just like a really good example of asynchronous communication is I leave somebody a voicemail. I send them a voicemail and I don't know when they'll get to it, right? I don't know the time or when they'll get to it, but they'll get to it eventually, maybe, and it's asynchronous. So I don't have to communicate with them real time, so I'm not interrupting this person, right? Now, if you can set up asynchronous communication systems in your business, you no longer are interrupting your team and your team members are no longer interrupting you. But this needs to be done carefully. And so what we use internally at DoorGrow, we use Telegram. I really like Telegram because, and you can get it at telegram.org, but Telegram is free, which is super cool. And it has all the features of like Apple iMessage, but even my Android team members can do cool stuff too, right? Just kidding, Android people. All right. So Apple phone, Android phone, and it works and it keeps in sync with computer. So we can do it from our computer, from our phone, from anything. And it's free and it's secure and it's not run by Facebook. And we like Telegram, right? So there's Slack, there's lots of different tools out there, but having some sort of tool. Now, this allows me to send like my assistant in the morning. I'm like, hey, can you help me with this weird thing that I got in the mail and take care of this? And I can send her a photo of it. I send her, say, a voice message explaining what it is. And then she's like, yeah, I'll take care of this for you. And I'll call them. So I can just give out voice messages to my team members and they can take care of things. It's asynchronous and they might listen to it right after I send it, or maybe they're on a phone call or doing something else, but I'm not interrupting them. They can do their work and they can check it later, right? A lot of my clients, they have direct access to me. They can communicate with me through Telegram as well. And so Telegram allows us asynchronous. Another method of communication is we also have Basecamp internally as a team. So I can post a memo or a message in there and people can read it later. Right? Facebook itself works a lot like this. People can create a post and for somebody or for people and people can read it later, right? So it's asynchronous. Whereas if your team members call you or walk into your office, right? SneakerNet or a phone call, right? We'll do an old iPhone that had the button, right? So then that's interruptive, right? It interrupts them. Now, we talked about decreasing the team communication here. So the other thing is even once you set up an asynchronous communication system, you also can do one-to-many communication, right? So let's say you're the business owner and you create a group, for example, maybe on Telegram, and it's like entire team, like team. And you've got all your team members in this group. We need one more body, right? There we go. So we've got the team and I can send a message to this team. The challenge is if let's say I've got a whole bunch of people, right? Well, that's more heads here. So if I send a message to the team, every single person, I have to pay for their time and energy and attention for all of them to look at this message. And so this sometimes is just laziness on maybe my part or somebody's part when they're messaging the entire team, because now the entire team, you're paying for the entire team to look at that. And then if the entire team are messaging into this group too, then what happens is everybody thinks they need to read everything all the time. And this is what I was experiencing when I was on the call with Jason Fried. He was like, how do you run your business like this? And I'm like, I don't know. It feels like we're spinning our wheels because one interruption, 18 minutes. And if we're interrupted once minimum every 18 minutes, you might feel like you're spending a lot of time in the business, your team are spending a lot of time and you're not really going anywhere because you're wasting like 30 minutes of productivity every time somebody sends a message to somebody else. But this wouldn't even be 30 minutes, right? If I send a message and only one person needs to see this, but I've got 10 people that have to take a look at it, I'm now creating a situation where I'm 10xing the disruption or the unnecessary communication in the business, even if I'm doing it asynchronously, right? So one of the rules we have at DoorGrow to make a communication more efficient is that wherever possible, the communication should be one-to-one. One-on-one is actually the most efficient communication usually in the business. A lot of people think, oh, it's way more efficient to communicate with 10 people. Not usually. Usually most things only need to be seen by one or two people, not the entire team, right? Maybe it's relevant to your maintenance coordinator and no one else. Or maybe it's relevant to your property manager. Maybe you have two property managers. It's relevant to them and no one else, right? So we wanted, the goal or the ideal is one-to-one. And then if not one-to-one, it's one to as few as possible. Okay? As possible. So I want you to remember this, because the less people that are communicating on something, the more they can focus on the work and the responsibilities and the things that you have them doing, and the more profitable your business will be. Cool. So we've covered the principle of asynchronous. We've covered of one-on-one communication. We've talked about the danger of doing group communication. We mentioned a potential tool you could use, Telegram. I like Telegram because I can send voice messages. Team members can send voice messages. If you upgrade for a paid account, it will use AI and transcribe the message into text. So I don't even have to listen to it. I can read it faster than I would be able to listen to it. And I can listen to text or voice messages on high speed. So my team members sound like chipmunks and I can hear it faster and get through it quicker. So it optimizes communication, speeds things up for me. Cool. We also talked about eliminating phone calls, which is a big deal. We talked about doing time studies. In Time Study Secrets, I teach how to make this not a punitive measure, but a helpful thing that you do to support your team members, and how we turn that into the ultimate job descriptions we call RDocs, and how we use this to build into our DoorGrow hiring system. So you hire really amazing people and so on. If you're interested in any of this stuff, then Sarah's probably the person you'd end up talking to eventually. But talk to us. This is all stuff that's included in our mastermind, which is amazing, and will help you scale your business a lot quicker. And we can help you build out the systems. All right. And we also talked about part-time versus full-time, and how full-time team members that are better team members are more engaged. And the other thing I'll add to that is when we have the 3 fits, which I talked about on some previous calls, which is culture, skill, sorry, this circle is squished, and personality. All right. These are the 3 fits that make the ultimate team member. And culture means they share your values. Personality means they naturally will be great at that job. They love it. And skill is teachable or trainable, right? If they're not a culture fit, you will never trust them. Okay. You'll never be able to trust that team member to offload things. And so it'll always still be on your plate, which means you still have to do it or be involved, right? If they're not a culture fit, but they're a personality and skill fit. If they are a culture fit and a personality fit, that's a great team member, but they may be lacking the skill. You can teach them. They can be taught. So that's it. You just need to teach them. If they are a culture fit, which means they share your values, you could trust them, and they are trained and they have a skill fit, but they're not a personality fit, they will suck no matter what you do. They will never be great at that role. You will always spend way more money than you need to on this person. If you have some team members that are all 3 fits for their role, they naturally love doing the job. They're the personality fit. They believe in you and your vision for the business and share your values because you've created a really healthy culture, and they have the skill and the training. You will get 3 times the output from these type of team members. And that means you need less people so that you can have a more efficient and more effective company, and you get a lot more output. Easily sometimes double the amount of output, or at least maybe sometimes 3 times the output. Okay, I covered a lot really quickly. Was that fast? No fluff, right? Was this useful? Comment in the chat if this was useful. I'll stop sharing my screen a bit so I can see everybody's faces. Oh, I love that I can see 50 people's faces at a time now. I figured out a setting in Zoom. All right. This is so cool. All right. So give me a thumbs up if this was helpful so far, right? This is a lot. It's a lot. And you might be able to change a lot of this just overnight by just having a conversation with your team. Okay. So Jason Fried taught me this, and I then went to my team and we made communication asynchronous. We decreased the group communication, and then everybody had twice as much time on the team. So then we were far more productive and able to get a lot more done, and everything started moving forward a lot faster, right? So we really did cut our staffing costs in half overnight. Some people had half the stuff to do, like VAs and stuff that we had at the time, and we had less meetings and less conversations, and everything was a lot more productive. He does have a really good book that he came out with years later that sort of teach some of these principles, called "It Doesn't Have to Be Crazy at Work." It's a really good book. And I love everything in the book except the planning piece. He says businesses don't need to have planning or have meetings, right? Basically, that is not true. So we've helped some clients like grow their business maybe 300% or more in a year by having really good planning cadence and planning systems. So, but he's not a fan of planning. So just remember that when you read the book. All right. So, cool. So I want to open this up to some questions. Yeah. How many people love group texts, right, Adrian? Right. Oh gosh. I'm in one of these. Like, we hate it when we get caught in them by our family or friends, right? Being in a group text, it's like the worst, right? Because it's not even relevant. We don't need it. We don't care half the time, like what's going on. And everybody starts talking about stuff, right? It's super inefficient communication. All right. Cool. I want to check in with each of you and see if there's something that we can do to help you specifically if you've got a team or some challenges. So comment in the chat which things maybe stood out to you or which things you're going to implement. And then we can go a little bit deeper on some of these things if you have some questions about it. So time studies, priorities, setting the priorities in the business, etc. So, all right. Cool. All right. We've got a little bit of time here. And how many of my clients have done a time study that are on the call right now? Anyone? Okay. Oh, okay, cool. All right. Yair, could you comment on what did you first notice when you first started doing a time study? What are some of the things that stood out to you?
The first week, it felt like a chore, and
Yeah, it's
I
not
couldn't find anything that I do that I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
But on the second week, I started to see that, oh, I'm doing this 15 minutes of sending email to this tenant that my property manager can do. Why am I doing this? I'm answering a communication that should be gone to the maintenance. And I started finding a lot of like, here, it's only 15 minutes, but it's actually to prepare to it, to read it, to send it, to get back. It became more and more that my time is going everywhere except for where I want to do, which is growing the business.
Yeah. Did you have any eyes when you were doing the categories?
I stopped before I got to the eyes and stuff. I stopped there and was like, all right, I know what I
Okay,
need
you
to
didn't
give away
categorize
already.
it? Okay.
No, I already knew what I need to give away before
Okay.
I finished.
Next time study, I recommend my clients do it once a quarter, but next time study, pay attention to those. That's where you're going to start to see eyes or interruptions, right?
Gotcha.
Cool. Who else did a time study? Samantha, you did one, you said? What stood out to you?
Well, I was getting past things from Jason. So all of my things, were his things as well. So, but I did find that, there were times that I was taking way too long doing emails and things like that. And I could shorten that period of time down with less interruptions by phone calls and things like that. So it did put in perspective how much time actually goes into the things that I do during the day.
So I love this because you're a team member. What's your role?
The assistant property manager, but I do maintenance, phone calls, everything like that.
Right. Smaller organization, right? And so you're doing a lot. And this is really cool because Jason did a time study and then had you do a time study. And so you were then able to see how you could support Jason. And this is not me, Jason. This is Jason Zong, who's on the call. So, and then you were able to start to optimize your time a bit. What percentage output do you think you had more bandwidth available to do after doing a 2-week time study? Just roughly.
Oh yeah. I would say probably like 30-40%, probably more.
Okay. Did everybody hear that? 30-40%. This is typically what I find. If I have 3 team members do a time study their first time, it's like getting a free team member. Usually it's about 30%. They have 30% more stuff that they're getting done or more time available. All right. I see some like eyebrows going up, right? I want you to see this is yes, I see you, Joanna. So this is a big deal. So when a team member comes to you, hey, anyone ever had a team member say, I'm maxed out, I'm full, like time-wise, right? Like we need to maybe hire somebody or do something, right? What's the default? Most people will go, okay, we'll go hire somebody and we'll get somebody. What we do at DoorGrow and what we coach clients to do is, cool, let's prove this to make sure and have you do a time study so we can support you and figure out where the time's going and what we need to get if we do need to hire somebody. But what I typically find from the first time study is they have 30% more time available. And they're like, oh, I figured it out. Like I've got plenty of time and I'm not full anymore. It typically takes 3 time studies before they legitimately need an assistant or support or someone to hire. And by that point, because they've been putting their plus and minus signs, they know, and you know exactly what things you need to document as processes, what things could technology take over and help, and what things would we give to somebody on a new job description that are the minus signs to get the right person that likes those things, that's the right personality fit for those that are plus signs for them. Somebody out there loves just about anything out there that you don't love doing. I know that is mind-blowing to some of you business owners, and you mistakenly think you need to find your clone and they're going to think like you, but that's not what you want. You want people that their plus signs are your minus signs, right? And your team members eventually need assistants that the plus signs are their minus signs if you want to keep good team members. I've had Adam on my team for almost a decade now, and the only reason I've been able to keep him because he's very employable, right? He's super sharp. The only reason I've been able to keep him is because I've given him time studies and then I help him get what he needs. Like he started as a content writer and he got burnt out on writing content. He's like, if I write another city keyword landing page for a website, I'm gonna like shoot my eyes out. And I'm like, cool, what would you rather be doing? His big plus sign, we're interacting with the clients, helping to gather content, get the website projects, the branding projects moving. I said, awesome. So now he's project manager basically, and that's what he does. He gets to interact with clients and he has an entire team underneath him now. He has logo designer, web designers, like all the stuff we help clients with. He's got web developer. He's got the support team. Like he's got an entire team, and he was not a natural manager at first, but I just kept giving him more of what he needed to support him after doing time studies. And so new hires should be proven based on a time study. And the most important time study to be done is by you. It's use, because this is where you get out of the blind spot and see where your time actually goes and which things you actually like doing and don't like doing, which things energize you and which things drain you. I think it's way better, way more important to become more energy efficient instead of more productive. You don't need to be doing more as a business owner. I want you to really write this down. I don't need to be doing more if the business is to grow. I need to be doing less. You need to be doing less things in the business if you want your business to scale. Anybody someday want to sell their business and make a bunch of money and exit their business? Is this a goal of anybody here? Okay. You need to understand this. The more valuable you are to the business, the more needed you are by the team and by the business, the less valuable your business is. The more valuable you are to the company, the less people want to buy it from you and the less they're willing to pay for that business. Okay. We have one of the best acquisition coaches on our team that exists in the industry. And he's been involved in companies with, or it still is, with 30,000 doors. He's super sharp. And he built up his own 2,000 door company, and helps our clients do acquisitions. One of our clients joined the program, and in 4 months, he went from 150 to 420 units because he was able to source a deal. Clint helped, our coach helped him do it in 3 clawback payments. He only had to pay the first payment, and the second and third payments were paid for by the management fees from the new contract. So it was and then he's going to net profit. So it's like he basically got a free company, right? So we want to make sure that we're focused on the things that we really enjoy doing as a business owner, because otherwise the default is you will keep growing your business until you get to the point that you hate it as much as possible. This is the default. The main goal is to get 4 things. And a lot of you that are clients have heard me talk about this before, but I want to go over this so you really understand, because this is the goal of having a business. All right. I call it the 4 reasons. And the process we go through at time says everything else. So the first reason is fulfillment. All right. Fulfillment. We want to enjoy our day today, right? So we're starting a business because we want to enjoy it. Second reason is freedom. We want more and more freedom, right? And this is what we think money will give us. How many of you, your business is making more and more money, but you have less and less freedom in your business? Anyone want to admit that? That's super common. It's normal. Yeah, I see hands go up, right? You have less and less fulfillment and freedom in your business, but you're making more and more money, which means you're doing it incorrectly, right? The third reason for running or starting a business is contribution. Entrepreneurs, we were meant to change the world. We see the world as having problems, and we set up businesses to solve those problems. I believe that God tricks us into improving and changing the world by convincing us to start companies in our heart, right? Because the way to improve the world and the way to have a healthy business is you have to solve real problems in the marketplace, and people pay you for that. Good property managers solve 3 of the biggest problems that exist in the entire real estate rental investing industry, right? Which are crappy landlords, crappy tenants, and crappy rental properties, right? You solve all 3 of those if you're a good property manager. You contribute, you make a real difference, and you deserve to get paid well for this. The 4th reason, because if we have fulfillment and freedom, what do we want next? We want to benefit other people too. We're like, I want them to have fulfillment. I want my team to like make money. I want to benefit other people. I want to help my clients, right? After contribution, then it's support. We start a business. The reason we don't just do this as a solopreneur all by ourselves is because we want support, right? You can't really have, as a business owner, the first 3 unless you have a good team.
God, go far.
Oops, there we go. All right. So unless you have a really good team, because you don't enjoy wearing every hat in the business, right? No personality enjoys wearing every hat. There's certain hats you enjoy wearing. And so you need, we start a business because we want an enterprise that allows us to have a team so that we can get all 4 of these. This is why we start a business. A lot of people think it's to make money, but here's the secret. If you have all 4 things, you make a lot more money, a lot more easily, and it's fun. And if you have these 4 things, then your team also have a shot at having these 4 things. It's pretty much impossible for your team members to have real strong fulfillment, freedom, contribution, and support if they're working for somebody that's miserable. And if you have team members that are able to get the 4 reasons, they feel support, they get to contribute, they feel like they're making a difference, they have freedom and autonomy, they have a sense of fulfillment, you will get 3 times the output from those team members than you do from team members that are miserable and hate their job and complain about you and live for the weekend. Right? This is one of the most profitable things you could do, is to enjoy and set up your business correctly. And this is the foundation of how we do that, is the stuff that we were just talking about, right? So that's the 4 reasons. Okay. You've been chatting away with a lot of people in the chat. What else do you think would be beneficial to some of these businesses that we have here?
So if you're going to do a time study, this is like my advice on the time study is, yes, it's a little bit annoying because you consistently have to update it and say, what am I doing at every moment, right? So yes, it's a little bit of an annoyance, I'll say. However, like once it's complete, then you have a lot of raw data that you can actually go through in a filter. So the things that I will tell clients to focus on if they're doing a time study, once it's complete, we now have to go back and assess the data. And the things that we're looking for, first thing is we're looking for interruptions. So my goal is to reduce or completely eliminate, if possible, interruptions. Now, sometimes it's not possible to completely eliminate them, but we want to reduce them as much as we can. And there's a lot of different ways that we can do that. But if we're aware of who's interrupting us, why they're interrupting us, and like, where is it coming from? Like, is it coming because people are calling me? Is it coming because, you know, I'm on social media all day and I'm hearing all these pinging noises? Is it people walking into the office? Is it like team members talking and I can hear them and now I'm distracted? Like, what are these interruptions? So we can pinpoint them. Now we know better how to handle and reduce them. So aside from the interruptions, the other thing we want to look at is, am I handling the things that I should actually be handling? So, for example, if you are the business owner, you need to now look at the things that you're handling and really make a determination. Is this at the pay level and the pay grade that I should be at? Or am I handling things that are below my pay grade? Right? Like if you have a BDM, if you're the salesperson, am I handling all of the things that are at my pay level, or am I handling things below my pay level? And for anyone who's like specifically in a role, right? So if you're like, hey, I handle, maintenance. Well, great. Is there anything on there that you're handling that really should not be on your plate? It should be on a different team member's plate, but maybe you're getting involved with it because this particular client just loves you and wants to talk to you, even though it's not particularly about maintenance, right? So those are the other things as we need to look at to see, am I handling the things that really I should be handling as either a business owner or as a team member in a particular role? So if you look at what things are on your job description and what things are now on your time study, if you have things that are on your time study that are not on your job description, something is going wrong somewhere.
Cool.
So those are the things that I always recommend looking at.
Okay. Morgan, thank you. Or my team member reminded me, we're going to give you a free gift. So we want you, this is just for those that are here live. We are going to give you guys, after the call for showing up here, we're going to give you our time study document. I'm going to show it to you right now, just briefly, the idea, but here we go. But our time study document, and you're going to categorize things according to strategic time, which means working on the business, tactical time, working in the business, self-care as a C, family time, and interruption time. And then here's what time study sheets look like. And then how do I get past this? Oh, and then there's calculations, and then you're going to calculate and you're going to divide up like business time, personal time, and figure out some ratios here so that you can figure out how am I moving things forward, right? And so we talk about this more in time study secrets and get into it a bit more, but the quick idea that I want to share here is that, time studies are not a punitive measure. They're good medicine. And sometimes it's a bitter pill to swallow. Like I've been doing some this week, and it's not like the funnest thing in the world to do for me, but I love the results. And this is how I've been able to grow and scale my business quickly and get the team and the support that I need so that I get to max out those 4 reasons and I get to really enjoy doing what I get to do. I feel very supported by my team. In fact, my team are moving the business forward faster than me. Any of you ever feel like you're dragging your entire team up the hill, up the mountain towards your goal, trying to hit that goal, and they're sitting in the wagon, you're pulling them? Anyone ever felt like this? Yeah, I see smiles. You don't want to admit it. Your team are right next to you, right? So, but we feel like this sometimes. Like we feel like we're always having to push them forward and motivate them and drag them and get them to do it. When you get a really good system in place, and the next level for this, those that are larger companies, you're ready to really optimize your team, reach out to us. We have a system called DoorGrow OS, which is a planning cadence and system that really starts to get the team to, they're then out in front of the wagon, you're sitting in it, and they're pulling and moving you forward. They're moving faster than you. And this is where I'm at with my team. My team members are getting tons of stuff done on a regular basis towards our goals, not just towards their daily tactical stuff that we assign to them. They're moving the business forward and innovating in the business and taking it forward instead of me having to do all that. And me thinking I'm the smartest guy in the room, and me thinking that I need to tell them, here's where we need to go as a company. I'm the last to speak in meetings. Sarah runs these meetings. She operates it through DoorGrow OS and this planning system. And some of you may have heard of some other planning systems out there like EOS and Traction. DoorGrow OS is better because it's bottom up and it allows the team to innovate and move the business forward. So the business starts to run itself. How many of you would love your business to run itself a lot more? And you can spend your time just doing the things you love, right? More fulfillment, more freedom, more contribution, more support. That's where we want to get all of you. So, so if you're 200 or plus, I recommend you reach out to our team. There's a lot we can help you there. If you're under 100 doors, you haven't really broken the 100 door barrier, maybe you're shy of 200, and your goal right now is just to add doors, that's your primary goal, that's easy problem to solve. So reach out to us. We can help you with our light level of our mastermind. And that might be really interesting to you. We've got clients that easily are adding plenty of doors, and then it gets painful. And then we get them upgraded to that super system level, which is generally for those that are usually around the point of 150 or so doors, they start to want to upgrade, but we designed it for 200 door plus companies and doing at least 20K a month in revenue. And that's our mastermind. Is pretty awesome. So the light level or the super system level. So cool. Then I think we've covered most of the topics that I wanted to cover. And I'd like to check in with some of, let's check in with some of our clients real quick. Hey, John, could you tell people, you're on the other side of the paywall, you've been around me for a long time. Some of the people here maybe never heard of DoorGrow. Who's never heard of DoorGrow by show of hands before this? Oh, you've all heard of us. Has anyone seen my podcast by show of hands or listened to it? Okay. Some. Okay. Anyone in our Facebook group? Okay. All right. I'm seeing hands here or there. All right, John, can you tell them what's your perception of DoorGrow? You can be honest.
DoorGrow is the fastest way to get results and the easiest way. Well, for me, some of those systems are a little more complex. That's why I have other people that work with me that would do those systems for me, because I'm a visionary more so than I am an operator. So, but all the systems that are put in place, there are other companies and things that you could join, whatever, but they don't teach you the stuff that DoorGrow teaches you. When I first came on with DoorGrow, I was part of another company, still am, but they didn't have the things in place that DoorGrow had in order to get doors. They had what I thought was, well, I don't want to degrade what they did, but it didn't get me anywhere. It just cost me a lot of money. So I started doing well, I guess I'll call them ninja things, or those things that will actually generate results. And then the conversations that you would have with people, even just from the conversations that you would have with the people that want to come on board with your property management services, you have to realize, and this is one of the things I learned early on, that you are the prize and you can't be too easy to get. And there's a set of questions that you can ask to set up that situation. That's one of the first things that I learned. And Jason, I've been there or been with since 2016. All right. And I started in property management earlier than that. And then I joined the other company in 2015. And they had us doing a lot of ancillary stuff, pay per click, which I'm not a fan of. I've never done that. But we just started generating, and all of our business now just comes from referral. As a matter of fact, last year we didn't take probably 60 to 80 doors just because we had enough. But now we want to grow. So now I'm part of that other system that will allow us to do these things. I'm here listening to these things. Every little thing that they have that they put out has a benefit to what you want to do. You have to pick out what benefits that you want and where you want to go with your company as well. But it's all there. There's more information in there than you will actually use in the beginning. And it's a long study if you want it to be, or if it's a short study, if you pick out the things of what's my next step. Pick out the smaller stuff and then take it like baby steps, and then you can grow bigger. The more you listen to this, the more you see this, the more advanced you are. You will have a business that you want versus the business that has you.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Any other clients want to comment? Rafet, we did a call today. You want to say something?
No, not right now. No, we had a great call. This is my main pain point, and Morgan, she always, talks to me, and she's great, by the way. If no one has ever talked to Morgan, she's fantastic.
She's one of our coaches.
But yeah, man, this is one of my pain points is just
The interruptions.
Interruptions and you name it. So our call, I'm really gonna focus on just trying to try to delegate these items so I can just focus on what I need to do. I know I've been saying this for a very long time, but it just seems that it's hard to do. But I really appreciate it, and definitely gonna make some changes. Neat.
Awesome. I'm excited to see what you do, man. Cool. Adrian, you had a call with Sarah today, and she was like so excited to share what you had said about other coaching companies. You're not even a client yet, but you came to our Game Changer event. What would you mind sharing that? I want to capture it.
Yeah, no, I started in real estate 2015, wholesaling, flipping. So we had been in several masterminds. COVID shut a few of those down. And 2021, I got the crazy idea, like many of you, to start a property management company. I did that because I had used 4 in the area and they all sucked for various reasons.
Yeah.
So I figured I did a lot of turnkey properties and I just didn't have anyone confident that I could refer that business to. So figured we'd bring it in-house. So started 2021 and kind of built this up just through trial and error. And no, it's good to be around people that have already paved the way and I can learn from their mistakes instead of trying to figure it out on my own.
So what has you leaning towards DoorGrow instead of any of the other coaching or mastermind organizations in the property management industry?
I like the size of it. I feel like the other masterminds I'm in, they all say this is exclusive. And by exclusive, it's like if you can cut the $25,000 check, we'll let you in.
Yeah.
So some of them that started small, 2-3 years in, they're 60, 70 people. You're not seeing the same people every quarter, and it just lost its intimacy.
Yeah, we've spent the whole last year not even focused on adding new clients. We just focused on improving the program. Like we put a lot of effort into that. So I think you'll enjoy it. Tiffany. Hey, Tiffany. Maybe you could comment real quick on like what's your perception of joining the program? You've been in it for a little while. You've been to some of our events. You've been in the mastermind, and you're part of a team.
Well, I tell you, it has definitely been a positive change for Steve and I. And we've been in it a couple of months, have had to revamp and restart and modify. And now we're moving forward. And I'm telling you, we're reaping the benefits of all of the instruction with DoorGrow and the encouragement and the just the learning and just being able to build, to make sure our foundation is solid and then build with it. And we added our first store last week since joining DoorGrow. And we've been able to pinpoint and pay attention to opportunities to meet with investors and meet with owners and know how to relate to them and how to convert that warm lead into something that we can use, not just a flyby, hey, call me, here's my card, but actually make a meaningful connection. So I look forward to the next 9 months. It's going to be pretty amazing for us.
Yeah, you guys made a lot of changes at the front end of your business. So there was a lot of work before that first store. So that's awesome. Cool. So as a free gift, we want to give those of you that attended this call the time study document so that you can start your own time study and start getting the benefits of it. It's going to really start to make things clear to identify those plus and minus signs. And then, our goal at DoorGrow is to provide so much value to this industry that people then want to, be part of what we're doing and join our mastermind and join our group. We have a really cool group. Our vision and mission is to transform this industry. And our mission statement or why statement is to transform property management business owners and their businesses. So we want to change you so you can build the right team around you, have the right business. One of my mentors used to say to me, he said, Jason, if you don't yet have the business of your dreams, it's because you're not yet the person that can run it yet. And so that's our vision and our goal for all of our clients is we want to turn you into the entrepreneur, the visionary that can have the business of your dreams. And then you get to benefit your team members, you get to benefit your clients more, you get to benefit. And I really believe good property managers, because of the massive ripple effect that we can have through you, we get to change the world because you get to impact sometimes thousands of tenants, thousands of owners, And we find that really inspiring as a team, and my team members all care about your success. That's our goal. We wake up in the morning and we're like, how do we help people grow their business? And so appreciate all of you hanging out with us today.
Wait.
Sarah's got something to say.
In order to get your free gift. So I think when you guys registered, you probably put your phone number in here, and we should have your email address
And their
if you're
email.
on a Zoom. If that is not the best like phone number or not the best email address for you, then let us know. Like, just contact us. That way we can actually send you the resource and you will get it.
Yeah.
So if that's for some reason not the best way to contact you, that's okay. Just let us know how we can contact you, and then we'll send it to that one.
Cool. So, all right. So I'm excited. If you are able to get your business a little bit more optimized from this call, I'd love to hear about it. Feel free to send me a DM on Facebook or Instagram and let me know. And if you're interested in working with us, being part of our mastermind, being part of an awesome community, taking your business to the next level, then let's make it bigger. And the thing I want to share is, I mentioned at the beginning, 1,000 doors is easier than 100 for a business owner if you do it right. The other thing I want to say is, I want to like plug this question in your mind. What would it take for you, instead of just to make incremental changes like you're trying to do every year, 2x, like just small changes? What would it take for you to 10x the business? What would it take for you to do 10 times the amount of growth and 10 times? Because I want you to work on this problem. I want to plant this seed today for you, for this to grow and work in your head, because there's 1,000 things you could do to just try and incrementally improve your business. There's too many. There's so many things, you get lost in the weeds, but there's very few things you could do to 10x your business. There's very few. And this helps you to focus, because it's a better question. 10x is easier than 2x. It's easier. 2x is a grind. It's tiring. It's exhausting. And some of you may have been feeling that. You're like, man, I want to exit this business. I want to sell it next year or two. So I want you to think in terms of 10x, and we want to help you with that. And so reach out to us. We would love to help you focus on those things. To 10x your business, it might be acquiring other companies. It might be like stacking, adding doors very quickly, like some of our clients are doing. But there's not a ton of things that you can do to 10x your business. There's very few. And I would say one of them is to work with DoorGrow. So with that being said, appreciate everybody investing your time and attention and energy with us today and hanging out. Hope you got some value. And until next time, to our mutual growth. And for those that provide your info upon registration, my team will reach out and see what you thought. And our goal is to support you. So bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, John.
Bye, John.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
You're welcome.